waiting for the clicker. I think Nuruddin took it downstairs with him. Good. Yeah, sure.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And I know it's been a very long day for all of us, and I'll be so grateful, inshallah, for hopefully, I did time myself 10 minutes.
No problem.
So if I can win an award for time management, perhaps I might, because it's been a personal challenge, alhamdulillah.
Sorry, let me close this for you. Sorry.
Okay, my background, alhamdulillah, is early years. I worked with children from 0 up to 5 and then right up to the age of 19. I went from early years education into healthcare, into social care, and then tripped into hijama. Alhamdulillah, literally, I fell at work, had an accident, and a friend of mine recommended, why don't I have hijama therapy? And I'd read about it very, very vaguely, but didn't know anything about it, other than it's a sunnah. After I went for one physiotherapy session after my fall. It was very painful and I was very stiff and achy everywhere. And I went to see my physiotherapist. She did one course of treatment and exercise with me. Went back the second time and I said, look what I can do. And I used my body. I showed her all the restrictions that I had because of my injury, which were no longer present, and I could move my body. And she was absolutely impressed. She said, how did you do this? And so quick. And I said, have you heard of hijama therapy? And she went, yeah. And I said, it's known as cupping therapy. And she said, if it can do that for you. And I said, I'm so inspired, I want to learn more about it. So she said, if you ever become a hijama therapist, let me be your first patient. So alhamdulillah, she inspired me also then to continue. So alhamdulillah, I am a master of intrigue. I like to make people think, hence the blank slide. Alhamdulillah. So I'd like to now take you on my learning journey. It's been a long one, but alhamdulillah, I've arrived. And my vocation in life is to help people, number one, worship Allah for Muslims, and for non-Muslims to educate them about the beautiful religion called Islam. In it, there is provision for everyone and everything from human, animal, you name it, and there's everything covered, mashallah. So, bismillah, and I will begin. Do I use the clicker or the button? See?
Yes.
Hijama, natural healer, natural painkiller. Alhamdulillah, my surname actually is Healy. So, hence the title, and mashallah, from my own experience, hijama helped me a lot. It took away my pain. And I meet so many people, from my own mother, who's a complex diabetic, to many people in this community that I've served who suffer from pain, and I don't like to see them in pain, and I don't like their suffering. So I want to always help them improve their lives. So Allah gave me a tool, and alhamdulillah, it's from the Prophet ﷺ, and it's hijama. And it has no negative side effects, alhamdulillah. Today I would like to introduce you to my 3 case studies. One is a gym injury, the other one is something that was a learning experience for me, and I chose it above all others because it was fascinating what I learned. Lichen planus, I couldn't even pronounce it at first, but alhamdulillah, and sciatic nerve pain, which is something that many women suffer from, and I wanted to get to the root of this and how to help people alleviate themselves from that problem. I learned, alhamdulillah, this is the most important aspect of my work, and I have a tendency to skip through my work, especially the written stuff. But when I treat people, first of all, I look at them, I assess them, I listen to them, I take a very stringent case history from them, I listen to what medications they take, and I do all of this because prior to going into early years education and social care and health, I was a lifestyle consultant with a company called Herbalife, and I used to sell their products to help ladies lose weight, alhamdulillah. So from that background, it helped me to now relate it to this. So when I speak to people, I make thorough checks about their suitability for hijama. How am I going to protect myself, and how am I going to protect them? I don't want to cause them any harm. I'm going to help them to get better. The most important aspect of hijama for me has been infection control. And alhamdulillah, infection control has been put into both sides. Infection control from the clinical aspect, as how am I presenting myself, what impressions are people going to get, what level of care, what standards, and legislation apply to that. Infection control in empowering the patient in helping themselves to stay safe and not cause themselves any adverse effects by scratching or exposing themselves to any pathogens, inshallah. So to me, and getting to know the patient, although it says Socrates, but really helping a patient to get better and feel better, you have to get to know them. And as Dr. Kareem drummed the very thing into my head from the first week that we were here, that get to know the person, listen carefully, listen to what they say, assess how they come across, look at the impressions, look at the body language, read everything, because you're not just a medical clinical practitioner, you're somebody that's going to form a long life relationship with that person, and they're going to trust you. So if you get that bit right, then you will have some credibility for what you advocate, alhamdulillah. So blood and needle phobia, very important. And alhamdulillah, one of the things that I forgot, because I don't know how I did it, but I did, time constraints, anemia. For me, anemia is a very important aspect of giving important care before and after. Same with diabetes. Anybody who's a diabetic has to be taken care of really well. Anybody who's suffering from seizures. Although I've got education and some healthcare play specialism background, they're the things that I've had to really take on board and get to know them well. And when I treated one of my patients for my case studies, I just said, how are you feeling, how do you feel? And suddenly she said, oh, what did she say? She said, I just feel a little bit. And I went, are you okay? And straight away I had to down everything, open the kitchen door, let some fresh air in, grabbed hold of her, walked her to the sofa, laid her down in a comfy position, and kept on talking to her. And I said, are you okay? Grabbed her a glass of water, handled the situation, and then collapsed myself afterwards with shock. but kept it together, alhamdulillah. Because that patient needed to see that if I'm working on my own with another person, how do I deal with people? Am I professional? Am I just the one-day practitioner who's done a one-day hijama therapy training? She was very impressed. She's gone on to recommend me to other people, alhamdulillah. So they're the things that I've had to learn. So I've shared them here with you, and I've made clinical considerations and risk assessment as my primary screen, because I want to show to you how important it is to not endanger life, but to help improve life. First case study, alhamdulillah, Asian male, 47 years old, very active lifestyle, mashallah, very outdoor person, has had excellent good health, no problems. I think his medical profile is about this thin, there's nothing in it. Doesn't believe in taking any medication or drugs, is always climbing, riding, swimming, mashallah, whatever activity outdoors, he'll be doing it. He's been a long-term gym goer though, and studying anatomy has helped me to help him. And mashallah, tabarakallah, take that back. These are the sorts of exercises he does at the gym. So bench press and chest fly. And then he is very cynical, very critical, very argumentative, and will really challenge anybody. So when I asked him if he would like to be one of my case studies, he agreed, and to my surprise. And after treating him, he was speechless. Because the pain that he had in his shoulder, and had had it since October 2013, and because of the exercises that he does, he hadn't really made the link between the two. And when I did the palpation on his shoulder, I discovered there was slight inflammation, and it was a little bit warm, raised temperature as well. And it was clicky, so when he rotated his shoulder, there was slight clickiness in the sounds I could hear. He also said that there was a constant dull ache, which after exercise increased, and he rated his pain from 6 out of 10 normal days to 8 out of 10 after exercise, and he had difficulty when he used to sleep at night. All of those little clues, alhamdulillah, led me to giving him treatment. Now, for what was wrong with him, and he never thought about going to his GP, is, alhamdulillah, what my learning journey was about also. That with conventional treatment he had activity modification, physiotherapy, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and other analgesia. And 2 to 3 months, and that would be all he would get. All inter-articular corticosteroids for 3 months. And in severe cases of this condition, it leads to distal clavicular resection. And all of the symptoms that he was displaying, to me, was saying this was his gym injury, but he wasn't aware of it. So after palpating, I applied a light cupping massage. I gave him 3 cups, as in the picture, superior angle of the scapula, lateral end of the trapezius, and to his deltoid. He said from the moment I did the suction and leave it for 3 minutes, he said he could feel things happening in his shoulder area, and he felt really impressed with what was going on and the alleviation of the discomfort and the heaviness. So he was very happy. And then when I did the wet cupping, he agreed for the wet. So we did the dry and the massage at first, and then we went for the wet cupping, alhamdulillah. He was very happy with that. And mashallah, tabarakallah, the feedback from this patient was, I feel fantastic, I feel light, the pain is gone, there's no clickiness in my shoulder, the adduction and abduction movements are great. And alhamdulillah, with the modifications that were recommended for him was move your hands closer in when you're lifting the barbells, dumbbells, whatever they call. Astaghfirullah, my mind's going blank. And alhamdulillah, just to make little modifications and reduce the exercise for the time being and allow some healing to take place. And alhamdulillah, the massage helped him because it reduced the inflammation and improved the lymphatic drainage. And mashallah, tabarakallah, he's noticed a significant difference in his shoulder muscles. Okay, number 2. Mashallah, tabarakallah, this lady was at her wit's end. She just happened to roll in because somebody recommended that there is somebody who's doing pajama therapy. She'd like some case study work, and this lady practically volunteered herself. She was in tears. She had been on a family picnic in the summer last year and got bitten on the neck. And as she was sat there at the picnic, she scratched it. And she said all she remembers is the scratch, and things then ensued from then on. And that little scratch turned to the development of dark patches on her neck, and then the dark patches led to itching and more itching, and it just seemed to spread all over her body. So it went from the neck into the axilla, then down to the groin, and she was all covered in her trunk, in her abdomen, and beneath the breast, in the breast area. She couldn't tolerate heat. She couldn't tolerate any hot foods. She was very irritable. She was very emotional. She was very hot at night. She couldn't tolerate her bedding or anything touching her. And alhamdulillah, I did my assessment of her, full screening of her. Once I was happy that this is the patient I can treat, I said to her, I would offer you sunnah cupping. If you've never had it before, would you like to commence with sunnah cupping? And I offered her 5 cups systemically. So to cover the 5 systems. And I treated this patient. The first patient only had 1 treatment and reported great results. The second patient, after second treatment, reported great results. Alhamdulillah. And I treated her twice. And mashallah, tabarakallah, the patient was amazing. She could eat hot foods. And mashallah, tabarakallah, Dr. Green taught us an excellent lesson. Person physically, you're looking at them also, in their other areas of their life. So you're looking at them as a whole. So I looked at exacerbating your current condition and adding to it. And mashallah, tabarakallah, I did recommend her to have methi tea as a cleanser. And mashallah, with the treatment and the methi tea, she came back and reported that she's able to eat hot food, she's able to go out visiting family members, she's not sat at home because she could not tolerate heat or food or drink, and that's what social life's all about. So alhamdulillah, she was very happy. And here is what she was given to manage her condition. She went to the GP, they gave her the aqueous cream and emulsifying ointment, and they gave her the, is it corticosteroid? Cortisone cream. And it's although it's 30 grams in strength, or is it 30 Gs, it's not, it can cause skin atrophy, and although she's very itchy and irritable at the moment, she was given that to use. And sometimes people don't really understand how to put this cream on, and they may use it too much because they're already stressed, they want it to end, and it can cause the skin to become thinner and it crack. And alhamdulillah, they were the points that I treated. So C7, 1 cup, and then at T2, because at T2 you can stimulate the thymus, which helps to improve the immune system. And alhamdulillah, what I learned was with this case study is that when there's a weakened or compromised immune system, things like this, as they occur, the body has a very difficult task of fighting it. And it's not able to deal with it, so it can show itself and manifest itself in these conditions, which can become chronic. And alhamdulillah, by stimulating, and after listening to her, and looking into lichen planus, and looking at her GP report that she was given, I was able to give her these cupping points, because they're the systems that need to work optimally in order for her to heal from this condition. And it's already started to fade, mashallah. And she lives, I shouldn't give away localities, but where she lives, she can't wait for me to come back and treat her some more, alhamdulillah. Third case study, sciatica. Mashallah, 48-year-old, Asian female, 3 children, mashallah, non-smoker, and she's a full-time domestic engineer. Alhamdulillah, takes a lot to make a family work and tick over nicely. She has an active lifestyle. She's changing beds, cleaning, hoovering, moving up and down. That's her daily routine. And she goes for walks outdoors regularly for good health and to keep the weight down. She has a varied diet, and it's high fiber, low carbs, and she does take vitamin D supplements and iron supplements. She described her pain emanating from L1 to N5, radiating to the glutes, ischium, hamstring, calf, and lateral side of her foot. That's where it ended. This started in March 2009 after the birth of her 3rd child. And the exacerbation after walking, standing, sitting, stretching her leg, and at night when she was sleeping. It really did hurt as well. And she described her pain as a dull ache and a sharp pain, and the sharpness was right in the middle of her, sorry for the graphicness of my terminology, the butt cheek, which is right in the glutes, which is deep in the piriformis. So it often made her scream. And her pain was 8 out of 10 on good days and 10 out of 10 after exercise or walking.
Can I just ask a question? What's the kind of medical terminology for that location?
Gluteus
That's a very good question.
The deep muscle is piriformis.
The area.
Gluteal. The gluteal in her. in her glutes. In her glutes. I think I've heard her kind of informalize it, so I've repeated it. Please forgive me for that. And alhamdulillah, the cupping treatment that I considered to be appropriate for this condition was massage cupping along the sciatic nerve all the way down the leg from its origin right down to her foot. And then I gave her a massage, then active release cupping, which she thoroughly rated and felt most benefit from. That was her 2nd treatment. And in the 3rd treatment, I gave her massage as well as wet cupping, alhamdulillah. And she felt that she could walk, she could put her heel on the ground without feeling the pain and wanting to scream. So mashallah tabarakallah, it had an excellent effect on her. And these were the areas that I put the cups on, and mashallah, she has constantly given me good feedback. L5, greater trochanter, upper shaft of the femur is how I followed the track of the sciatic nerve, basically, avoiding the major arteries,